It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
If that's creating success, what are some of the pitfalls you have to worry about when you are trying to become a millionaire? And I'll tell you, one of the biggest things is having a very solid and good relationship with debt.
Absolutely. We all know that debt is, Brian, you say this all the time, debt is a four-letter word. It's like a chainsaw, something that can be very hazardous and very dangerous if used inappropriately. I think that our millionaires recognize it can actually be a useful tool, not something that can be used haphazardly.
So here's a contrarian point that I think a lot of people will be shocked by. We hear out there in the personal finance space all the time, you can't use credit cards.
No,
credit cards
no
are dangerous.
Don't touch them.
Don't use them. They'll blow up your potential. You won't become a millionaire if you use credit cards. Here's the stat on this, guys. We asked this question specifically to try to see where things lied, and we found out 99% of our clients use credit cards.
Let's say it one more time for those in the back.
Only 1% don't use credit cards. The other 99% do use credit cards. But realize they don't have credit card debt. They use credit cards. And here's our proof on that. How many actually have had in past tense credit card debt? And we found out that 63% never, ever, ever had credit card debt, and then there was 37% that said, yeah, there was at one point in my life that I had some credit card debt that I carried a balance.
Yeah, what I think is so interesting is you just said that 99% of the millionaires that we surveyed use credit cards, consider it to be one of the tools in their tool belt, and yet the vast majority of those, 63%, never carried any credit card debt. But if you think about the 37% that did carry a balance, this is what they said. 3% of those folks said only if it was 0% interest. So yeah, I carried a balance, but it was because I had a promotional credit card for a store or something like that. Or 36% said, well, it was just while I was in college. I needed a little bit extra to kind of get me by. And then 61%, the vast majority said, I used to, but not anymore. So the millionaires that we studied said, I do not currently carry a credit card balance. Yeah, maybe that was the old me, but as I have awoken to financial independence, as I've realized how valuable compound interest can be towards me and how detrimental it can be against me, I'm going to use credit cards, but I am not going to have credit card debt.
Well, I think if you combine the only in college and the used to but not anymore, that's 97% that are saying, yeah, at some point I had a struggle or this was a moment in my life. And I represent this. I can remember right after I graduated college, my parents were all proud. I had all the pedigree stuff, meaning that I was working in my field of study. I was in public accounting. I had a new job. Now, look, it only paid $28,000 a year, but the people my parents were bragging to, they didn't know how low being a CPA right out of college, paid at that point, or an aspiring CPA. So I got into, I can remember a few months where I carried a credit card balance, and I remember how desperate it felt when you get that monthly statement and you see the predatory interest. And I vowed to myself, I will never, ever, ever get myself in this situation again. And I think that is the vast majority of the people who respond to this, 97% said, yeah, I have had credit card in the past. I still use credit cards, but I respect them and do not carry a balance.
Now, this next statistic, Brian, is one that I think should be very encouraging to our younger viewers, to our younger listeners, because we just asked, of the millionaires that we surveyed, how many of them had student loans? Like, how many of them actually graduated college and had student loan debt? And 41% said that they did, right? So it's not quite half, but almost 59% said that they did not have student loans. Well, this is what I think is interesting. A lot of folks coming out of school now operate under this assumption, man, I'm starting in the negative. I have student loans. I had to rack this up. I didn't have mom and dad pay for college. I'm behind the eight ball. I'm never going to get caught up. It's this thing that I can't get past. We want you to hear us loud and clear. Even if you do have student loan debt, that does not mean that you cannot build wealth. Wealth is still attainable by you because 41% of our folks had to start in the exact same position that you started with. They just had to work through it, overcome it, and begin building their army of dollar bills.
That's powerful. I mean, it really is. That's why I wanted to make sure we added that question, because I did want to know how many of us had to go finance college. And what we found out, 4 out of 10.
Yep,
I mean, I think
exactly
that is
right.
very, you can use this to be the fuel to get you through whatever debt you're struggling through, whether it's credit cards, whether it's student loans. our survey has shown even millionaires at some point struggle with these things, but they do reach graduation, and that's what takes them to the next level.
Yep.